Hey, everybody. Baruti Call Alexander here. And we are talking sports again on Sunny Fireside Live Sports Take with the president, Jeff Walker, our guest, Deshannon, and my brother, Philip Green, also. And we are here talking about sports every other Friday. We talk sports, and we got a lot to talk about. And we're going to get right into it. Deshannon, what did you think about that fight? First of all, did you see it? And what you think about it? You know
Yeah,
what fight I'm talking about.
I actually watched some of it, but just from my point of view, I know it was a publicity thing, and just looking at the fight, you got a 27-year-old versus basically a 60-year-old fighter that can't move the way they moved, and they got the big gloves on, so nobody can really get knocked out. I know the purses was set for each fighter, but it was kind of disappointing to me because as I was watching it, I'm anticipating what I've known about Mike Tyson versus this guy that nobody kind of really know a lot of information other than the YouTube. And has he fought anybody that's credible to put him in that status? But at the same time, it was disappointing to me. So I kind of walked away from it because I'm like, I got better things to do. No disrespect to the fighters, but it just, as a person that, as we are, we live some life and seen fighters and the abilities they have, it wasn't there. But at the same time, it was kind of like I'm wasting my time, and it was, even my son said, "Dad, walking away from a fight," and I actually walked away from the fight. So it's one of those things where I wasn't pleased. I mean, for as the fight itself, I know they promoting probably for the company, but it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a fake fight because it was real fighters, but it was it wasn't staged. It was just something that I wasn't pleased about, honestly.
Well, from my perspective, I mean, I got to respect what Jake Paul has created.
Right.
Now, we as an audience have kind of helped him create this because now my thing is he actually started as a publicity stunt as a fighter, but he's developed because I went back and watched, I think, all of his fights. He fought De Silva, but De Silva's over 40 years old.
Right.
He fought Woodley twice and knocked him out twice. And Woodley
Right.
has some experience, just like the other guy. So he is earning his way. Now, he's starting to get a whole lot of attention from the fighters who actually are fighting, who are actual, that's their job to be a fighter. And he's going to get a good test. But from a marketing strategy, what he has done is genius. What you think, Phil?
Yeah, if you look at it just from a cosmetic outside the box thinking, it's not real boxing by no means. You know, that would never be sanctioned for anything to be of substance that we could remember in our history books. So yeah, the entertainment value was good. To me, they had fun. But it's amazing that Mike is in great shape for his age, and he gave all he had. I mean, he didn't want to get beat up, but he took a few licks. But that guy has to fight. So I would like to see him even fight a real professional club fighter. You know,
Right.
somebody on his level. You don't got to be nobody special. Give him a few of those because what he doing, he beating people that he know he can beat or pretty much got a fair chance of beating them. Hey, money talks. I mean, the dude, YouTube is the new generation's way of making money. We didn't have that. We would have had an opportunity, so we have to settle for what we got.
Right.
Understood. Hey,
I
Jeff, I
agree.
saw one time you put out there, I don't know whether it was Clarissa Shields, you were saying, hey, could we, us gentlemen being as old as we are, could we go and beat one of them? You don't remember saying that? Well, you
No.
said it about some.
I seen Clarissa Shields. I ain't getting in the ring with her. That's for sure.
I never said that. I wouldn't fight Clarissa Shields.
That girl tough.
No, but
Pay
back
me
to
$1
the
million
Tyson fight.
and give me just 2 months. Give me 3 months for sure. I'll get in there for $1 million.
Okay, that's the caveat, the $1 million, not because you thought you could win.
No,
you do it for the money.
no, I'm not doing nothing.
I go around. I go
show.
around for $1 million. Yeah, I get in there with no training for $1 million. I'll take it. One round, but it's a 2-minute round.
Okay.
Say what? 2 million?
2-minute round for 1 round for $1 million. Yeah, I get in there with her. I don't need to be in shape for that. I'm thinking money the whole time. Just keep my faculty. And don't let no bones get broke, and walk away, hug her, and thank her, and go get my money.
What you gonna do like Leon Spinks did with Tyson?
Yeah, that was Michael. That was Michael Spinks. Yeah, Leon. Mike.
Yeah,
Mike ran in there and took a few punches, laid it down, rolled his eyes to the top of his head, and said, "Give me my money."
Hey,
all right, can I get a comment on the Tyson
afterwards.
fight? Can I get a comment on the Tyson fight?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Everybody else got one. I would like one. Thank you. It was
coming to you.
I don't think so. It didn't look like it. It didn't look like it, my brother. You want to fight Clarissa Davis?
Wasting our time.
Anyway, man, that was a circus. That was a circus. That's all. It's all show. That's all show. Jake Paul has a huge YouTube following, and that's all that's about. He can generate revenue because he has a huge following. But that fight was not a real fight. I went back and watched several tidbits of that fight, and I saw many times that Mike could have really hurt him. I saw many times where Jake Paul missed badly, and Mike, he was wide open where Mike could have rolled him out, and Mike wouldn't throw the punch.
I don't think Mike has the quickness or the ability.
It wasn't that, Carl. It wasn't that.
I watched the fight too, Jeff.
Mike, let me finish my opinion. Mike could have knocked him out. I saw many opportunities. Matter of fact, I watched it with experts, and they said the same thing. Many opportunities Mike could have hurt him. It was about money. It was about the show. Jake Paul took home $40 million. Mike Tyson took home $20 million. That's what that was all about.
What was Mike Tyson? That's what it's all about. It doesn't mean both men. See, I think Jake Paul he made sure not to do too much damage to Mike Tyson also, because Mike just didn't have the quickness. I mean, if you compare him to how he was when he was, at his height, of course, he's an almost 60-year-old man.
I saw Mike working out. I saw Mike's workout videos. Mike, I'm telling you, Mike had way more than what he showed in that fight. The fight was about money, making the money.
Yes, it was about money, but I'm just telling you, you saw him working out, but working out and actually fighting is a different thing, in my opinion. Mike just did not have it as much. I say Jake Paul was holding back because I didn't see him have some fights too.
Yeah, they both may have been holding back. They both may have been holding. That's why I say it wasn't a real fight. If they both holding back, then it's not a real fight. You just validated my point.
Okay, all right. I accept that.
Okay.
Anybody else got a comment on that?
Well, like everybody's saying, it wasn't a fight of the century, or it was something that you got a 20-year-old versus a 60-year-old, and you got a guy that's really you fought fighters, but have you fought, like you say, a prize fighter, someone that's been fighting for years and they proven themselves. That's what'll tell a story. This Mike Tyson has proven himself. And it was like, you gonna give me $20 million just to get off the couch and do something? I'm gonna do it too. And I know I ain't gonna get knocked out.
Yeah, so that's what it comes down to.
It's all about money. Of course, like some people think he should have just did some interviews and probably got half of that money, but I'm like him. Like I say, one thing I do respect, the dude, if you run up on him, he gonna knock you out.
Oh yeah.
Don't get it wrong.
He still can do that.
He gonna still knock you out. So you
Any
thinking
average guy who come in there half stepping or just think that they can do something to Mike Tyson, he'll take care of it. Still,
that's like one of us. Even though we older men, we might do something to keep ourselves in shape. If some of them youngsters grab one, run up on them and grab them, they gonna feel it.
yeah,
We're gonna do what we gotta do. So it's just all it is.
Yeah, well, I believe that that was our last time seeing Mike Tyson in the ring, unless it's
So
another type of carnival event. We'll
Okay,
see.
on the heels of that, Carl, on the heels of that, now I'm hearing that Shaq and Charles said he's going to fight Shaq. He says if they can do it, we can do it. But Shaq says, no, I'm not going to fight Charles. Shaq is setting up a fight with Gronkowski. Gronk, the tight end for the Patriots, Rob Gronkowski. He's supposed to be fighting Rob. Rob wants to fight Shaq, and I'm telling Shaq, Rob wants to knock you out. I was watching them, listening to them. Rob wants to knock Shaq out. Shaq playing, but Rob wants to knock Shaq out.
I saw their interview on the show. I don't take that seriously. Now, Dwight Howard actually does want to get in the ring with Shaq because he's tired of all of that, that Shaq been talking to him about over the years. Shaq don't want to get into the ring with Dwight Howard, even though I think Shaq could actually win. But Dwight Howard actually has some animosity against Shaq. And, I don't think he wants to. Now, Charles and Shaq, that would be all a carnival show, and that would be a funny thing, but I don't think there's no seriousness there on either end.
My money on Dwight, because Dwight's still playing basketball. I think he's in better shape than Shaq. My money on Dwight.
Well, I don't think it ever come about, but that would be interesting to see.
Yep.
And let me ask this, guys. In the NFL, who is the hottest team now? What you think?
Detroit right now.
I go. Who?
You said what, Phil?
Right now.
Who?
Detroit.
The team I said at the beginning of the season, they were not on their way. They were not in progress. They started from the bottom. Now they at the top.
Yeah,
I like Buffalo.
That sounds like a song.
It is exactly what it is.
Most definitely. Hey, brother Shannon, did you see that game in the snow?
You know what was crazy? I was watching something different, but when I tuned into it, I saw, which, just to give you a story, so I was looking at the opportunity that Texans had. If we can win out, if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose, you got your Ravens, because we still got to play them, the Kansas City, and if we win out and we need help from other teams, and for the one time I was rooting for the Browns because that's what I'm looking at the end of the season. But no one gave Browns a chance to win. But when I looked at it again, I'm like, this is a different game because it went from the weather was cool, and then all of a sudden it was like Winterland. And Jameis Winston, the dude came a long ways. He's developed into what he is now. He's a spiritual person now. He doesn't do all the things that when he was in college, but it was one of those games that I wouldn't want to play in because I played in snow. Snow ain't fun to play in because it's wet, it's cold, it's windy, and you just got to be on your top of your game when you're playing in these type of games. But hey, Cleveland took advantage of it, and they got the win.
Yeah, and I think Jameis Winston has given that management of the Browns something to think about, that they feel that, hey, we should give him a chance to be the full-time quarterback. I think they're going to move away from Deshannon. I think they've already moved away from
Deshaun. Yeah, and I'm going to say this here right quick.
I think they got a chance with him.
I'm going to say this here right quick. A lot of people didn't believe in him coming out of college because of all the things he was going through, but he was still putting up the numbers. And it was just, he was immature. So he was doing immature things. But as time went on, he started developing, especially when he got benched and he had to sit and watch the other players in front of him perform, I think that kind of grounded him, and he took a step back. But like right now, I think you still got the guy, the kid out of UCLA that's down there that's been injured. I think Deshannon, he got a lot on his plate. So I don't like what the media doing to him, even though he's in that position, because when you continue to just bring up your past and put that stuff out front, that's a heavy weight. So it's honestly, he might be out the league, because a lot of people not gonna take their chance on him because the injury he has and then all the baggage he got. So I just pray for him that he can overcome everything and then be a great asset to his family and then the younger generation. So I just wish him the best.
Well,
I
either
just
way
say
it go,
the history of the NFL is, I think they give quarterbacks, even black quarterbacks, a second chance unless you got something so damaging against you. Michael Vick got a second chance. So many of them have gotten second chance, and he's improved. Yes, Jeff.
go ahead.
Okay, well, who do we think has improved since they started the year? Arizona has been pretty good. I say they win every other game, and they 6-5 now, and they ahead of that division. And Quasi Skip, I think Arizona is going to win that division over there. So that's Kyler Murray, and this may be the first year that they could beat out Seattle and San Francisco, but we'll see.
I like what Buffalo has done. They lost Stephon Diggs, and look at them sitting at 9-2. I like what they have done.
Buffalo?
Look at the
Buffalo
division
Bills
they
sitting at
in.
9-2.
That's true, but look at the division they in.
Yeah, but they not just playing the division; they playing other teams as well. They
But
still sitting at 9-2.
Duly noted. Like I said, look at their division.
Well,
Nobody won more than 5
the
games.
division the Texans in.
Okay, I'll take Texas division over that one.
Okay.
Agree.
This is me.
Agree.
The second place team in the Texans division can beat all the teams behind Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it still got 7 more games.
I'm not discrediting Buffalo. I'm just saying that the way is made smoother when your division is that bad.
Well,
you just beat Kansas City.
We can play the Jags and the Tennessee Titans.
You just beat Kansas City. Your point is well taken. They are good. I'm still gonna say, look at their division. That's one less. One less.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not so sure Indianapolis, as the second team in this division, they are improving. If they ever figure out what they're gonna do with Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco.
Oh, Flacco's not gonna play. They're gonna play Richardson.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna play Richardson.
As long as he doesn't get hurt anymore.
That's true. I mean, he's more need to mature, as we said the same thing about Jameis, but he's getting an immediate chance now. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
And then Richardson also, between high school and college, he hasn't played probably 20 games.
He hasn't played much, no.
So he's still developing, learning how to be a quarterback, but then at the same time, you got the keys to the Ferrari where everything is moving fast. So it's a learning process.
Coaching's got to help him.
Right.
They got a lot to do.
Coaching and ownership, because you got to play the kid and let him go through the bumps and bruises, just like with my man with Carolina. You can't just bench the guy, and because
Bryce Young.
So you have to let him play and let him get the bumps and the bruises. Just like when I showed up on the campus in high school, I was a freshman. I did my diligence, but at the same time, I earned the spot to be the starter because I practiced. I worked out. My grades were good. I wasn't in trouble. But at the same time, when you get the opportunity, you got to make it hard for them to say, I got to keep him on the field some way. So it's a learning process.
Yeah, and they always say the NFL you know, you go from college to the NFL and the speed is faster. You got to get used to the speed
Oh
of
yeah.
it. And the skill
Fast
level
approach.
it's a higher skill level, and only the strong survive.
Yeah.
So let me ask this: in the AFC, the last positions of the teams is out of for the wild card is out of Indianapolis, Denver, maybe Cincinnati. Can we find anybody else who might?
I got the Chargers. I got the Denver. I got the Denver. Denver. I got the Chargers, the Colts, and the Ravens are fighting out for those three wild card spots. Those are the teams that are going to be fighting out for the wild card spots.
Well, I'm really just talking about the last two because, like, the Ravens are gonna. We project that they're gonna make it. They're gonna make the playoffs, but I'm looking at maybe the last two in the 6 or 7. Who gonna make 6?
I'm going with Chargers. I'm going to Chargers and Denver as the 6 and 7 teams.
Okay, Chargers and Denver. So you got them beating out Indianapolis and Cincinnati.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
the Ravens could conceivably win their division. They're only a game behind. I mean,
they're one game behind Steelers.
They could conceivably win their division. Both of those teams probably will make it. That means the Bengals won't make it.
Yeah,
I think that's what I feel like. Pittsburgh and Ravens will make that in that division because, like, say Cincinnati,
they don't have a chance.
They can beat you, but they too far behind, I think, and they got to win out, and you still got to play them teams again, and you know how that division goes. So,
yeah.
but
they through with the Ravens. They just got to play the Steelers. They through with the Ravens. They play
right.
You know, the Texans play the Ravens on Christmas Day.
Here, right? Or there.
Right.
And Beyonce's gonna be at halftime.
Yeah,
that's gonna be something. So
we're hoping for another Janet Jackson situation.
Maybe so. So the division winners, I got the Texans gonna win their division, either Pittsburgh or Baltimore, Kansas City, of course, and then Buffalo. Those are going to be the division winners, almost like it is every year.
Right.
In the NFC, have you seen any surprises? Washington's still up there. Now, Philadelphia beat them pretty good, but that boy's still learning. Now, he looked like a rookie in that particular game. They kind of confused him with the defense, and they intercepted him twice. But he's still in a good position, and Washington is still in a good position. But Philadelphia is getting stronger every week. What are they, 9-2 now, Jeff?
Yeah, Philadelphia's 8-2.
8-2.
They had a bye week.
And they are getting stronger every week. Then you got Green Bay and Detroit. As Phil said, Detroit may be the strongest team in the whole NFC. They are playing tough, but the Texans had them beat and should have beat them. Should have beat them.
They should have.
Yeah.
They should have.
But you see, when they scored 52 points, if you let them get rolling, they are stampeding. They're
the most explosive team in the league. Offensively.
Well, Houston had a week to prepare for. We didn't have a week, but they had a good game plan for them, and so they should have won. But good teams like Detroit find a way to beat you. They got a couple games like that, and they blow everybody else out. Also
in that game, Fairbairn did what he doesn't normally do. He missed 2 field goals in that game. Yeah. So we could have, we should have won that game. We should have won. Detroit's kicker missed the field goal too. He don't miss often. He's from Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, he was selling bricks.
Yeah. Yeah.
To beat Detroit, you got to play one of your best games. And Houston did not in that second half. Houston laid an egg in that second half.
They came right out playing bad.
Yeah, when you got a team like that, when you got your foot on them, you
had a lead big enough to hold them, but you don't got to score.
Yeah, you got to finish. You got to finish teams when you got to have that. You got to have that killer instinct when you got teams like that and put them away.
We've been joined by Brother Gill now. What's up, Brother Gill?
And I've been saying all along, Joe Mixon was a great pickup, and he's proven to be.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is.
We should have got. We got just the guy that was available. They
Yeah.
traded for him. He has proven
Right.
what he's worth. I
Right.
said that in the preseason.
Yes, sir. I agree to that. That guy, if the offensive line can play like that guy run, come on.
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? I just happened to have a layover, man. So I decided I'd chime in. I told my brother that if I had a layover long enough, I'd chime in. What's going
All right,
on,
we
gentlemen?
appreciate it. We
Hey,
appreciate
Gil.
it, G. We talking NFL right now, G. We almost through with the NFL
Well,
discussion.
well, you know I can't talk about the NFL
Okay.
because I'm a Cowboys fan. So don't talk to me.
Oh, okay,
Well,
gotcha.
again,
I
what
got
do
You
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 think
in
is
Michigan
gonna
so much,
happen
I
with
thought
the
you was a
Cowboys?
Detroit Lion fan. What up, though?
Yeah, what up, though? I had my Detroit shirt on when they played them, actually. And
G-Rod, weekly in the house, weekly in the
bless
house.
you.
So G-Rod, we're not gonna
Yes,
see
sir.
you on all we have is audio, no video of you today.
Oh, hold on. I didn't know I wasn't on. I got my video. Hold on a
I
second.
can't see.
Okay, my bad. And I might have
While you
to.
working on it, what
Go
is
ahead.
going to happen with the Cowboys? Are they going to fire Mike McCarthy? Are they going to make some changes? I mean, they
He's
can't
done.
doing like this, even though the base of the Cowboy fan base is built in, but it's so frustrating to have this type of effort going on, and you're putting the fans through so much misery. What they gonna do, Gil?
Now he's done. McCormick is done. He lost control of the team, and that's a big deal for the Cowboys. Even though we got too much input from the guy that's sitting up there in the real rich seats, he needs to step back and let the guy coach. That was one of the things that Big Parcells could do. That controlled him, told him, let me run the team. And that's very important. And right now, McCormick, he doesn't even know what's going on, man. It's sad to see that offense is. Look, we got some good defensive players, but that offense is horrible. And even Jeff could run through the line, and I know Jeff can't run.
Man, you stretching
Hey,
that.
I
I'm
can't
telling you.
argue against that.
Well,
It seemed like
Well, I'll
every
tell you
team
what I'm
beat
hearing.
them by 20 points.
let me
And
tell you what I'm hearing about the Cowboys.
Come on.
go ahead.
I'm hearing that Mike McCarthy, this is going to be it for him, and I'm hearing Deion Sanders is coming to Dallas next year, especially if they're able to draft his son. If they get that top pick, because right now I'm hearing they're gonna tank the rest of the season. And if they get that first pick, Deion wants to come to Dallas.
I don't
And
think
Deion ain't going nowhere. Deion's
Huh?
staying in Boulder, bro.
Yeah, Deion got a gold mine over in Boulder, man. And I
Deion
don't
ain't
think.
going to. He not coaching grown men. He's in a good place.
It depends on the
He's
money, my brother. It
Well,
all
I
depends
hear
on
he's
the money.
making 30 million right now, Jeff.
30 million, not 30 million a year.
It might
Look,
be
he
30 million for 5 years, but he's getting paid very well.
But
And
if
endorsement.
Dallas come through with a much better deal, you don't think he'll take that deal, especially if they're gonna
No.
draft his son?
I'm not
Look.
sure that he doesn't want to live up to his contract and maintain his contract and build credibility. However, they could come with big money and he can change his mind. We'll see.
There is no way that if Dallas gets that first pick and draft his son, there is no way he doesn't take that job if it's offered to him. There's no way.
Your operative word is if.
Say what?
Yeah.
Your operative word is if.
If,
Ifs
exactly.
and buts and candy and nuts, every day would be Merry Christmas.
I don't think that would be a good marriage, to be honest with you. And I love Deion Sanders, and I love what he's done. Let me start off by saying I love what he did for the SWAC. For the SWAC players, let's give the SWAC some credit. Don't bend them, please. Now, I just don't think it would be a good fit with him and Jerry Jones. That's just
right. That's my point. That's my
big.
point of view.
That's big egos, man. Very big
Who
egos.
is a good fit with Jerry Jones? There is
Nobody.
no good fit.
If Jerry Jones wasn't
another guest join us, is that
Who's
you,
that?
Sister Laquan?
Oh, Laquan. All right. We got a lady in the house. We got a full house
Well,
now.
she may not hear us yet. I don't know. So let's continue with our conversation. Something got to give the Cowboys are one of the most profitable organizations in the country. And it's so much misery, and they seem like they're getting worse. I would even contemplate trading Dak if I can get something decent for him, especially if I got Deion Sanders' son coming in. But they got to do something. They got to try Trey Styles or something. You got to do something to shake up this monotony. What do you think about that, Brother Gill?
We don't have a running back for one thing. That you got one receiver, 88, and everybody know in the stadium and in the NFL, every defensive coordinator knows you got to go to 88. You ain't got nobody else to go to. So when they say Dak's not effective, yeah, if every defensive coordinator, every professional coach and defensive back knows you're going to 88, guess who I'm going to cover?
I hear you.
Double coverage.
They don't have a tight end. We don't have a running back. Man,
but it's up to the coach to get something out of the other players too.
Well, yeah, the coach is probably begging. To your point, yes, that's a true statement. Except Jerry Jones, he nicked on my man, Derrick Henry, said it wouldn't be a good fit. Just an idiotic statement. He said that he said he let my man go from the Cleveland Browns, the wide receiver. Jeff, help me out here. The wide receiver number 2.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, he let him go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I heard Amari Cooper wanted to get out of there.
Of course he did.
I would too.
Exactly. I get it, but you got a dual threat. You don't have a dual threat right now. You got to have a threat right now, and right now you don't even have a quarterback. So, bro, to whoever said we gonna tank, it's gonna be a natural tanking. We're done.
A natural tank.
Hey, Jeff, let me ask this. Have the Texans turned the corner from their 2-game losing streak? Everybody kind of comes back and rejuvenates after they play the Cowboys. Isn't that going to be the case with the Texans?
The key with the Texans is can they stay healthy? They're getting some players back this week. They're getting Will Anderson Jr. be back. Kamari Lassiter will be back from injury. So the key is getting those key players back. And you get your key players back, then you have a chance to be a better team. But when you're playing second unit guys, that hampers your success. So they get their players back and they're healthy, relatively healthy, then I think they have a chance to go at least 4-2 the rest of the season and finish with 11-6 record. I have them finished at 11-6.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good season. Weren't they 10-7 last year?
Yeah, 10-7. That's just one more win, but hey.
Yeah.
Well, they got to go 4-2 to get to 11-6.
That is true. That is true. And one of those games is against the Baltimore Ravens. And that may be a challenge.
They got 3 games in 11 days. They got 3 games in 11 days, Carl. 3 games. That's going to be a tough stretch.
Yeah, that will be a tough stretch.
Especially if Baltimore's in there.
I tell y'all this, the challenge is going to be this weekend. Because even though they don't, the Tennessee is not one of the better teams as far as record, but they got one of the better run stop defenses. They got the interior line that's going to challenge them as far as you got to measure up to when you get, like I said, when you start getting into the playoffs, these games get harder. You got to find ways to win, but at the same time, you got to play against these type of defense where they can stop the run. Now, we still got to stop making the pre-snap, the offsides, and then the man down the field. So if we can just settle down and do what we got to do, you got to beat this team because there's a lot riding on this. But
I believe that Slovak has to diversify the offense. This is only his second year as offensive coordinator, I believe, and I think the defense have figured out his strategies, and that's why they are not doing as well. So his last 2 games that they lost, he wasn't diversified. He just run mixing, no diversity in the running game, and of course we didn't have Nico Collins and don't have anymore, and so he has to find different ways. That's what a good coach does. Because everybody got injuries. Everybody got injuries across the board. So he got to find a different way. And DeMarco got to do it also. So we'll see. Any other things about the NFL? In the AFC, in the NFC, I have the Eagles, Detroit, Arizona, and Atlanta are going to win the division.
Okay.
And then the other teams going to make it are the Commanders, the Packers, and maybe that last team, I'm not sure. Who you think, Jeff?
Vikings. I got the Vikings as the third team. That's the
Okay,
third
okay.
wild card team.
All right. Well, that's
So
not
you're
about.
saying Green Bay going to win the division?
No,
Detroit.
Detroit going to win the division.
Okay, so that means a team with a winning record in that division won't be in the playoffs.
Well, Jeff said the Vikings. I said Green Bay. So I got 3 teams. We got 3 teams going to make the playoffs
From that division. Okay, that doesn't happen often, but that'll be impressive. I don't
Okay,
think
well,
they're going to make it.
3 teams can make it from that division, then 2 from the East, and then just 1 from the South and 1 from the West.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
it.
it happened. I didn't say it wouldn't. I'm just saying it doesn't happen like that often.
I think
Right.
the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. So
You say what? What?
The
What'd you
Super
say?
Bowl.
In 2030. In 2030.
I didn't say win.
No, I
You
did.
said-
You know it ain't gonna be
there
this
you
year.
go. There you go.
Let me help you, Gil.
There you go. There you go.
Hey,
Laquan,
SAP.
Laquan, let's get Laquan in there. Come on,
Hey,
Laquan.
my sister, how you doing? We talking NFL. Do you have any comments on the Texans, the Cowboys, or who is the hottest team in the league?
Well, hey, I tell you what, the Browns surprised me the other day against the Steelers. That game right there, I'm like, what happened to the defense? It seems like they broke down. But as of right now, I think the teams that's supposed to be up at top is playing at their potential, and they're showing it each and every week. Texans. One thing about the Texans, they got to learn how to maintain the momentum to keep that. They start out like killing teams, and then all of a sudden they get that little slack, and then they allow some teams to creep back up. So I think Texas, they just got to keep that momentum and keep going, because I know the game before Dallas is like, what happened? What did they do? So I just think they just got to keep that momentum. And but Dallas, yeah, I don't see Dallas. Dallas might as well go sit the rest of the season out.
Jeff, I don't need you laughing at that, man. That's not funny.
No, you got to be honest, brother Gil. You got to be honest.
I'm very sensitive, man.
Full Cowboy stuff.
Huh?
Cowboy man.
You very sensitive about your Cowboys?
I'm sensitive.
Oh, I am too. I've never stopped being a Cowboy fan. I don't. It don't
I'm
bother
a
me when
Texas
people say-
fan, being Cowboy.
I mean, I got to be realistic. I mean,
Man, I stopped tripping when Joe Montana hit Dwight Clark. Come on.
Oh man. Oh my God.
That's back in the 80s. That's back
Of
in the
course.
80s.
So that goes to show you how much that don't bother me. There's lots that happened
Yeah.
since then. But at that time, that bothered me. But nothing else since.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Sister Laquan, and we talked about that snow, and in that game is in a situation like that, anything can happen, and whoever can survive those elements like that, because the second half of that game, it was almost a wipeout, and the conditions were almost unbearable. But every team got talent, and if they can put it together on any Sunday, they used to say.
Man, y'all didn't hear what
Yeah.
Pickens said?
Yeah.
Pickens told y'all why Pittsburgh lost.
Well, since no.
Man,
Wait, what did he say? What did he say?
He said we lost because it was snowing.
He's somebody for everybody.
Pittsburgh gets snow. Cleveland gets
Yes,
snow.
yes.
All those teams get snow. What is he talking about?
No, but in a situation like that, you got the elements, and it can cause slipping. It can cause everything, and
Okay.
Cleveland
got
is
two
still
teams.
a professional team.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
That's
those
what I'm
teams,
saying.
both of those teams are in an area where it snows. You have blizzards. So the thing is, they
They
have
do the
other
forecast.
elements that prepare them for that.
Absolutely.
They have tools for
And they
that
do the
situation.
forecast before the games. Come on.
Yes, yes.
So, so,
But I go back
So
to
if
what
it-
I said.
I like
On
Pickens
any
though.
given
That was
Sunday,
funny.
a team can win.
if
No,
it-
but cold
no,
climate,
no, no.
cold climate
What he was
does.
saying, what he was saying, if it was sunny and 75 degrees and
The sun was
all
too
the
bright.
the beer was cold and the popcorn was good and our stale and the hot dogs were good, they would have won. Man, Pickens, shut up.
But I'm going to tell you this: any athlete should be able to train. They supposed to learn how in every weather. They supposed to train in every type of weather.
Thank you, Mr. Quan, because as an athlete, I don't care what the conditions are. It don't matter to me. We got to go out there and beat whoever we're playing. I don't care about no
Exactly.
conditions. Come on, man.
So I don't go to work because it's cold outside, right?
Some people don't.
Yeah, but
No,
football is a
Hey,
whole
hey,
nother
no.
animal.
It's
When
snowing
you
outside.
sign up
I
to
don't
play
wanna go to work.
football, it's
Look,
rain,
I'm-
it's sleet, and
Look.
it's snow. You got
Look.
Yes.
They only out
I
there
got
for 3
you.
hours. You working for
I
8
hear you,
hours in
but
there?
I still believe my point a little bit.
Let's go to history, Gil. The Ice Bowl.
A little bit.
Yes.
Well,
36
I'm not
below
going to
wind
go
chill.
wholehearted because I'm getting so much pushback, but yes, a little bit. I believe I do.
Okay.
But I accept what y'all are saying. I accept what y'all are saying. That's cool. Sister Laquan, who do you think are going to be the teams that make the playoffs?
Ooh, man. I mean, of course.
We just got
You know,
6 more games, I think,
6 more
right?
games.
Yeah.
What, Detroit, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, who else is playing good? Baltimore was playing good. And let's see who else. Who else was playing good?
I think the Texans, Denver,
yeah.
Buffalo.
The Texans, they on the fence for me. They're on the fence.
Texas lost 2 of the last 3. You can't count them right now.
Yeah, they're on the fence. They're on the fence. So I can't even put them in a Buffalo is playing good.
Exactly.
Yes. Who else? And Philadelphia is playing good.
And it still depends on injuries a little bit the rest of the year, unless they done got out there so far with wins like Detroit. They could almost lose their last games and still be one of the best as well as Kansas City.
They only one game up in their division though, right? With all
Who's that?
They only one game up in their division.
Who you talking about, Phil?
Detroit.
Oh, yeah. You're right. There's just one game up.
Yeah.
Vikings
They
only
will
one
still
game
make
up.
the playoffs.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I'm just saying they're not running. They smashing people. I'm just saying, but they only one game up.
Minnesota playing good too. You're right.
But you know what? I tell you what, Detroit got a tough division is tough. Their division is tough because Green Bay been playing good too.
That's the best division in
We should have beat them too. Texans should have beat them too.
If they play in Detroit,
I think the Texans only have 2 losses.
It's gonna be like this. And I'm gonna say this: if you play in Detroit, you're gonna have to score 40 points. There's not a lot of NFL teams that can score 40 points.
And they gotta say what up though.
What up, though? What up, though? 7 miles, 8 miles, Good looking, son. Good looking. I got the whole lingo when I was up there.
Detroit's offense reminds me of the Miami Hurricanes offense. Have y'all seen the Miami Hurricanes offense?
Well, today or back in the day?
No, right now. That's my Miami Hurricanes offense right now. They got a high-paid offense.
Well, you know what?
Y'all gotta watch them.
They got high quality quarterbacking.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what they remind me of Detroit offense.
Oh wow! I haven't even paid attention to Miami.
Oh man, they good.
Miami got a squad.
Yeah, they got a
nice squad.
You got to outscore them to beat them.
Oh
Let's
wow!
go to college football next, Carl. Let's go to college football next.
Say what, Jeff?
Let's go to college football next. Since we talking about Miami, let's go to college football next.
Okay, all right. Well, the Colorado Colorado Buffaloes. They have 2 losses. This week, I think they're going to play Kansas for the championship of the Big 12. And they are moving up in the rankings, and they're going to be in that. How does the system work now? You have the top 12 teams playing for the, that's what it is, Jeff?
That's correct.
They didn't have them on the list as the top 12 playing in that tournament.
They're not. They're not.
They're not on the list.
They're not gonna get to that top 12, Paul. They're not.
Oh no, they
not gonna get to the top 12.
Well, if they win their conference, they will.
No.
If they win their conference, they will.
They said the schedule wasn't as tough as the top 12 they picked so far.
But the Big 12 is a Power 5 conference.
Yeah, but it's who you play before the Big 12 also too.
That's
everything
true.
that I read, I'm hearing that they're not going to be in that top 12.
Watch if they win their conference that they get a shot.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Okay. So I heard they wasn't going to be in there.
If they beat
Kansas, you got teams going to cannibalize each other. You got 2 teams in there already. Ohio State and Indiana. The loser may not get a shot. They got some other teams. You got independents like Notre Dame who still vying for a spot. It's not impossible. It just may not be likely, but it's not impossible.
But the thing,
winning their conference goes a long way. Without winning their conference, they got no chance.
Right.
Winning their conference, they have a chance. They'll be considered for sure.
That's the one
all right,
thing.
Your big games this weekend is number 5 Indiana versus number 2 Ohio State. You got number 7 Alabama going up against Oklahoma. You got number 9 Ole Miss up against Florida. You got number 13 SMU up against Virginia. You got PVU versus Alabama State, baby. CSU up against Arkansas Pine Bluff. J-State against Alcorn State. And you got Florida A&M versus Bethune-Cookman. So you got to talk about the swag, baby.
I was at the TSU game last week. It was very interesting against Bethune-Cookman.
Okay. Well, both our teams on the road this weekend. They both on the road. And then also you got number 3 Texas going against Kentucky. Huh?
So do you all think the system is kind of fair or getting more fair to decide who's the college top team? Or should they revise the system more?
No, I like it. I like this.
It's the first year of this one.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, to be honest, they're always going to take the powerhouse that's always been there, especially if they're winning. They're always going to take the powerhouse that's been the top of the totem pole.
That's a business decision. I agree with Mr. Laquan. That's a business decision. However, we'll see this. Excuse me, Phil. Let me just say this. We'll see. Between Ohio State and Indiana.
You just saying what I was gonna say. That's it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We think alike.
No, go ahead. That's it. I like
no, but you from third ward. I'm fifth ward. You can't think like me. Anyway, so what I was saying.
Wouldn't try, yeah, wouldn't try.
Y'all crazy.
That's too diminished.
So we'll see how fair it is to Mr. Kwan's point. If Indiana beats or Ohio State, or even if they lose by 1 or 2 points, if Indiana stays in that, because Indiana's playing out of their minds right now in that conference. I can't even believe they're in there in that even the talk of winning the Big 12. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Big 10. Big 10.
I'm sorry, Big 10, but I counted 12 teams. I'm sorry. I went to Prairie View. I'm sorry.
Let me ask this: are there any
ain't changed the name
teams? Aren't there in BYU undefeated and
no, they lost.
Yeah. No,
they lost.
They play Arizona State. They play Arizona State
last week.
Yeah, they're number 14 ranked.
But they're undefeated, so they should be in there if it was.
BYU's not undefeated.
BYU not undefeated.
They're not undefeated.
The thing is, also, y'all have to realize the team only can play their schedule. They don't make the schedule. So I know they do the strengths and who they put on the schedule, but if you run your schedule and you play these games, that should be considered not just by they are a powerhouse team, but they playing these teams and they beating them teams. So you got to give credit to. That's what I don't like about the college system, because it's kind of biased because they want certain teams to be in there. Just kind of going back to the NFL, they think if the Cowboys is doing well, the NFL is doing well. But that's very true. So
I agree with that, Deshannon. If a team goes through their whole schedule and they're undefeated, now it's a difference between a college level 2 team and a college level 1 team. For instance, if Prairie View went undefeated, they still are not on the same level as a SMU would be.
Right, and that's point taken. So it's just like you have, like you said, you got Division 1 and 2 and 3. But one thing about these teams, just like when you take a Division 3 team and put them in a Division 1 game, and all of a sudden, when that team beat them, they say it's an upset. But you got to realize these teams win national championship, and they know how to play football. It's football at the end of the day. But you can't go in there and take these teams lightly because they will beat you.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. I know of one school make their own schedule, and that's Notre Dame.
Okay, speaking of Notre Dame, they got one loss. They ranked 6th. Can anybody tell me who they lost to?
No.
They lost to Northern Iowa.
Northern
Now you're gonna tell me that's gonna carry some weight if they lose another game?
No, Notre Dame sell. No, you know why Notre Dame is always on TV?
Because they got money and they got history. That ain't hard to
And
figure out.
they bring them money. They
For
bring
sure,
them money.
but it's old money. It's just like living in River Oaks and living in Third Ward. It's a big difference.
Old money is the best money.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, I'm not disagreeing. All I'm saying is that's how the system is set up. They won't even get in the conference because they know that'll jumble their money.
Yeah, there's
That factors into everything.
There's another phenomenon there that we need to talk about. Well, about Notre Dame, and I'm not a Notre Dame fan at all, never will be. It's Catholicism at its best. I'm not anyway. So this is the issue. They signed a contract with NBC. We didn't lose a draw. They signed a multi-million-dollar contract to be on NBC every Saturday. That's why we see it.
And that's because they're Notre Dame. Win, lose, or draw, that contract is good.
Yep, exactly.
Agreed.
Now, I root for them because they do have a black coach. I will give them that.
I don't root for them at all. I don't
you got a black coach, you got a chance for me to look at you.
I'm not rooting for Notre Dame.
With that being said, Northern Iowa didn't care nothing about that coach and beat them at Notre Dame. That was a money game. They paid them to come take a butt whooping and got one.
Yes, sir.
Laquan, I want to ask you this before we move off of this. Are they going to hire the Cowboys again? Are they going to hire Deion Sanders out of Colorado?
He ain't leaving unless you get Travis and Shadura and Shiloh all on Cowboys. That's the only way he gonna leave. That's the only way. You got to get all 3 of them.
I still say if the Cowboys are able to draft his son, he will take that job.
He ain't gonna take because you got to get both sons and Travis. I'm telling you, he's not leaving without all 3 of them.
And you forgot the son.
That's not realistic. That's not realistic. You got 32 teams in the league. That's not realistic.
He ain't get all 3 of those guys. And he ain't gonna leave. You got to get all 3 of them.
Yeah, because Deion Jr. gonna have a job too.
So let me. Since we're talking about Colorado
and the daughter, because the daughter is the marketing.
Yeah, but she's still in college.
Yeah.
So she have a job.
Yeah, she's not even in college.
No, the oldest daughter.
I know she's still in college. She's still in college.
The oldest daughter is the marketing for them.
That's true. Like I said, Deion Jr. don't play sports, but I'm talking about the youngest one.
Yeah, he takes the picture.
I have a question.
Kelvin Sampson doing the same thing at U of A. So
pertaining to the brother Hunter at Colorado and the brother from Texas that's playing at Boise State. For me, those are the 2 Heisman Trophy candidates that I would vote for. And what Hunter is doing, and a lot of people don't give him a lot of credit, man. Playing over 100 snaps a game is unbelievable. For that alone, man, you got to give that kid credit, man. And he's just not playing; he's performing. And that kid at Boise State is just unbelievable. That is a running back that's going to make a big difference when he gets to play on Sundays, in my opinion.
And make it a Texas 3-step. The guy that quarterback Miami is from Texas too. That's 3 kids that should all go to New York at least for the trophy ceremony.
Yeah, that boy from Miami was bad. That quarterback was bad.
Yes, sir.
And
Ward is his last
I think Travis Hunter's a lock too. I think for that Heisman, he's got so much publicity around him, and he's performing on both sides, which is an unheard of thing almost. So
And he's
I
already
think
got
that's
the
a lot.
pose. He knows how to pose with it too, man.
Yeah,
I like
he
the
does.
pose. I'm a poser too, but I can't get like one leg. I'm 60, so I can't really like on one leg. My knee buckles.
Just
But
get
I
on
like
the
it
shelf, brother.
pose.
Put it on the
Huh?
shelf.
Get
All
your
right,
kids
guys,
in.
we are
Basketball.
talking about the in-season tournament. Is where we at with that? Are they halfway through, Jeff?
Halfway, the in-season tournament.
Yeah.
The Rockets just playing their second game tonight before the in-season tournament. They're just playing their second game tonight. They're playing
But
Portland right now.
some
They're up
teams
by
play more. How
15.
many games is it in the in-season tournament?
I think it's 5. I think it's 5.
Okay.
I think it's 5. I could be off by 1. I think it's 4 or 5. But I do know the Rockets playing their second game tonight. And they're playing right now. They're up by 16 in the second quarter.
And then they
Against the
play
Portland.
again tomorrow against the same team. How do you, Laquan, how do you think the Rockets are progressing? And would you make any trade if they offered Giannis for Eason, Amen Thompson, and Jalen Green? Would you take that trade?
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot
It
of
is
young
a lot.
guys again.
Yeah, that's
Huh.
a lot. You
I
talking about
wouldn't do
either
that.
or, because I know you can't be talking about all of them.
I wouldn't.
Wow.
I wouldn't take that trade. I wouldn't take that trade, and I doubt whether I would take any trade in that context. I was first talking about Dylan Brooks and Easton for I was asking for Middleton and Lopez, but after I saw them play and over, I said, okay, wait a minute. Dylan Brooks is too valuable to the team and what he does. And I would not give up that trade for those guys, nor would I really make a big trade for Giannis. They are building chemistry. They are 11-4 or 11-5 now, and they are building chemistry. And a couple of those games they shouldn't have lost, and so they're doing pretty good. And
They shouldn't have lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. They got cheated out of that game. Giannis was standing out of bounds. They the Rockets were up by 1. Giannis was standing out of bounds, and they didn't call it. If they make that call, Houston wins that game, and they're on a 7-game winning streak. And we sitting at 11-4 right now. But it is what it is.
I always say, I never look at a team before All-Star. I wait till after All-Star, and then that determines the team, because that's the meat and bread right there, that second half. Because usually a lot of teams that be up on top fall down that second half.
That's true. Some of them can't sustain it.
Everybody thought that the Oklahoma City Thunder were going to fall when, Chet Holmgren got hurt. However, they kept winning, and they kept putting it out there. And even though they averaging 6'5", he's going to be out another month. But Hartenstein has come in now and look like they're not missing a beat. And
they got the number 1 defense in there. That's what's keeping them afloat. Number 1 defense in the league.
But a lot of people got to look at it. It just because one of the top players go down, sometimes that's a blessing for some teams, because the other players have a chemistry and they play better moving the ball, moving on the floor, and cutting and doing all the fundamental things, and they ain't got to worry about it being in one man's hand all the time.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, because usually what happens if you're a good team and one of your big people, one of your star people is down, everybody else knows they had to pick up whatever Holmgren was averaging. You got to pick up that pace. Somebody else is going to have to contribute as a team. So that's a very, very good point, Mr. Quan.
Yes.
I'm looking at the West versus the East. Do you guys realize that the East only have 4 teams that are over 500, but the West have 12 teams that's 500 or better? 12 teams. So with that being said, I've been noticing the West is so heavy as far as parity in relation to the East. And now what I'm hearing that the NBA, when they go to the expansion in the next couple of years, when they move from 30 teams to 32 teams, they're going to go away from the East and the West conferences, and they're just going to go with the top 16 teams that make the playoffs, because there's just not enough parity over in the East. It's
They
you don't have
should
enough good
have
teams
did that
over
a
there.
long time ago. They should have did that in the 90s and after the 90s, and they should have just made it a tournament style when it came to the playoffs. Everybody played everybody wherever you draw, just like the NCAA. That's what I think they should have been done a long time ago.
Is
Right.
Boston one of the teams, Brother Jeff? Is
Boston one of
those
what
top
teams?
teams? Is
Huh?
one of those top teams? Is
Yeah, Boston
one of
number
them?
2 in the
But
East.
it
12
don't
3.
matter. It don't matter. Now let me explain what you just said, and I'm not disagreeing, but I'm gonna make a point here. The West and the East play totally different ball, man. In the East, on the East side, they play a little bit more conventional. Out West, it's all out running, jacking it, shooting threes like at Golden State, for example. Sacramento, those people put up numbers. Even the Rockets are putting up some nice numbers. In the East, they're a little bit more conventional, a little bit more X's and O's, in my opinion.
Let me ask
But I hear
this.
what you're saying. But when you got 12 teams in one conference that are 500 or better, and only 4 in the other conference, that's not good. That's not good. They got to do something
It's
about
been
that.
like that for years, because if you ever look at the overall record at the end, it looks like if you took the bottom teams from the West and put them over the East, they would have made the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember back when we had Steve Francis, and it was early in their career, and Houston would do very well against the East, but they couldn't beat anybody in the West.
No,
Let me say this. I like the format now, the East and the West. I mean, I guess maybe it's just what I'm used to, but also it fluctuates. It doesn't always remain the same. Sometimes the East is on top and have the better teams. Sometimes the West.
I've always seen the West has always been more heavy. There's always been more heavy in the West.
3 or 4 teams out of the East. The rest of them gonna be the West, because after the fourth seed on the East, that 9th, 10th, and 11th teams on the West could have been over to the East and made the playoffs.
But let's look at
Call. Number 1 right now. If the season ended today, right now you have Cleveland as the number 1 seed at 16-1, playing Brooklyn, who's the number 8 seed at 6-9. There's no way they should be in the playoffs at 6-9. So they got to do something about it.
It's probably gonna change over the year, where at least that 8th team on the East is gonna be 500, and it always fluctuates like that. But the way it's been, and look at how many teams in the East have won the championship. You're talking about Chicago, dominated for some years. You're talking about Detroit, dominated for some years. Boston has dominated for so long. So it evens out. Sometimes it's the East, sometimes it's the West. Look at that.
Yeah, you're going way back to the 80s and 90s.
You gotta go through that. You do.
He's not talking about the top
history.
seeds, though. He's not talking about the top seeds. He's talking about the ones after they fall down, after that 500 mark, and them teams fall down like that. He's talking about those type of teams. And then you got a lot of teams on the West that's sitting above 500 but didn't make the playoffs or something like that.
You shouldn't have a team.
It's fair. You got to beat the teams in your conference, so they didn't make the top 8, even though they got a winning record. It all evens out, and they have enough of games against the East and the West. You can play against one another, and you find out. I mean, the better team's gonna make it. In my opinion.
So you're telling me that them doing away with the conferences and going with the top 16 teams, you don't like that?
No,
I don't like that. I don't like
You don't like that.
that.
How do the rest of you guys feel about that? Taking the top 16 teams.
I don't like it either. It's too.
You don't like that either. What about
Daquan?
You like it?
Yes, I like it. They should have did that years ago.
Thank you, Philip. How you feel about that, Philip?
Well, in the last 10 years, it's only been, I think, 6 teams that won it in the West and 4 in the East. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, you can realign them and make them the top 16, or leave it as it is when you add 2 new teams, because those 2 new teams are gonna do nothing but filter wins for the other teams. They're not gonna win nothing right away. It take a while in the NBA.
That's true.
It all evens
What about
out.
you? What about you, Deshannon? How you feel about that?
I'm agreeing with Philip, because like at the end of the day, Boston just won a championship, even though they wasn't picked to win, but they wanted teams to consider to win. But it's like I say, the West is loaded, and it's more like my man say, they more running than gunning. The East played, they kind of more physical. They played a slow game, half court game. So when you start talking about championship ball, that's what it takes to win. But like I said, if you shooting threes and the three's not hitting, can you go to the paint and hit? Can you make your free throws? Your bench, scoring, the coaches. So it's just one of them things. Like I don't really just keep it the way it is.
Let me ask
Well,
this.
it's truly not the way it is because they just added a participation tournament in or something, whatever that is.
And that's good.
They're babying the players.
But what is that tournament proving? That's just a half season tournament, just like you said earlier.
No. The tournament to get into the playoffs. They have that.
Right.
Why?
I mean, like,
why?
But
you mean the play-in?
So
The
you're
play-in
talking
tournament
about
in the season.
the
They
7th,
just
8th,
did that to create some
game.
excitement. I'm sorry, go ahead, Carl.
It's not excitement. What it is basically you get an undeserving team a chance to get in the playoffs, and they undeserve it. That's a
I agree with you.
trophy. That's a participation
I agree.
trophy.
No,
So that's why
y'all got to think about it from this perspective. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. That helps their fans be able to be involved. You got at least 2
that's
teams
why basketball is becoming so weak. That's why these kids are becoming so weak. We want to hand them things to, hey, get a second or third chance. No, hey, I don't believe in everybody should play. I don't believe in everybody should make it. No, because if you can't make it in the regular season, you shouldn't be able to make it. Shouldn't go to no playoffs. So my thing is that's why the game has become so weak and so sorry. Like it's just to the point to let me cater to the players. Let me just cater to and give them something. No, make them earn it.
Let me ask this, Laquan.
She has a point, Paul.
Are the Cleveland Cavaliers as strong as they are showing right now?
Yeah, they are.
I think they are too. I think maybe Kenny Atchison has ignited something in them. He's shown them their worth, and they're going to be a tough team to beat. And you got Evan Mobley, who is playing at a high level, Jared Allen also, and Donovan and Darius, we already knew what they could do.
But their roster says they're good, even though they do have a new coach. They got a good team.
Yeah,
they do have a good team
last year, but he's putting them together in the jail that they need.
Right. I mean, a year together makes a big difference. I mean, especially when you had disappointment the year before, you come back as a team and you look at each other and say, what are we playing for? You know, do we really want to excel? And they decided they did. I think the coach does help, but he doesn't make any plays. He calls them, but he don't make them.
And we got outstanding guard play and outstanding big man play.
Yeah,
with Mobley.
Across the board in every sport, what you said is a very important thing. You're looking at each other and saying, what are we playing for?
Right.
That's very, very important. We are close to the end of our show, but I don't want to leave out without having this discussion about high school sports locally here. What teams are in the playoffs? What are they doing? And what's the projection?
Well,
what other teams are in the playoffs that we know about?
All our teams that we were interested in are all gone now.
Worthing got smacked last
Sterling, Wheatley, everybody gone. Everybody
Worthing is gone. They lost.
Yeah.
Worthing lost last night.
You cannot mess with no country boys. Them Tyler boys come to play. They play. Them Tyler boys come out of there every year, and they come.
Laquan, what team is that?
Chapel Hill.
Tyler Chapel Hill.
Yep.
Tyler Chapel Hill.
Yeah, there's a couple of teams from the Houston area that might make some noise, but there's the teams up north. You know, if you look at the national rankings on the football side in 6A in the state of Texas and 5A, there's like 6 teams ranked nationally right now. DeSoto being one of the top teams, North Shore from the Houston area, Duncanville being Longview's always up there, and teams like from East Texas. The Houston kids, other than North Shore and maybe Katy, usually fall prey to that. But right now, Duncanville and DeSoto are very, very, very tough teams. One of those are going to win the state, if not both. It's crazy.
I know DeSoto is a top team in track every year, and that what they draw from, they get a lot of play. See, the Houston teams don't have the draw or the access to the students like they used to. I mean, it used to be Yates, Worthen, Madison, always dominating and getting to the state at least. But now it's spanned out to Klein and Katy and all of that. And it's not as much access that the Houston schools have. And I think that's in Dallas and all the major cities. The surrounding areas are getting all the best athletes.
Well,
gotta-
DeSoto been good. They was good last year.
The suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DeSoto isn't it right outside of Dallas?
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
been good the last couple of years. Yep.
But you got to think about this also. You got to think about this. This is where it starts. When you got forms like little league teams, they being coached when they are young. These kids going to these programs based off of these schools. So it's kind of like it's picked. These kids going from, if you don't got the little leagues in these cities, you can't get them kids. So these teams are smart. That's why they got this. It's a continuum, just like Alabama. Alabama know how to go and recruit. Just like you got to recruit these kids when they're young, you got to put the coaches in the places for these teams to be where they are. It's no offense. Just like I'm over here by Ridge Point. Ridge Point don't get a lot of recognition, but they've been good for a long time. And right now,
only been open like 5 years, 6 years, huh?
Well, it's been a little longer than that.
By 10, not much.
But when they
are
started,
good,
they was already kind of pushing in, just like Hightower. I'm right by Hightower.
But Hightower been around a while, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So even when they started, because you just like we moved to these areas, you got these kids and these families, but it's one of those things. So you got to pay attention to that. I don't have nothing against Dallas teams and Duncanville and all these teams, but like Manville, same.
All right, y'all be good, man.
Okay, G. Thank you, G. We
Man.
appreciate you, man.
Stay traveling.
Take care, my brother.
What up, though, Gil?
Thank you, man. Thank
All
you.
right.
Later.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother.
I hear you. You're right. I think that's been about 15 years that has really changed up, because it used to be that the schools in the inner city, they would draw from all of the students. Yates would draw from Third Ward. Now the Third Ward students are going to Lamar and going to their parents are moving to other areas and so forth. So it is changed up, and the whole climate has changed up, and everybody just has to adjust. And we are toward the end of our show, but Brother Phil, give us our word, our advertisement.
Well, guys, just as usual, we want to let you know that A-Rocket Moving and Storage is one of the sponsors of this great show. We are a local and a national at the same time moving company. We do all type of move, residential, commercial, and office moves. We're located in Third Ward, 3401 Quarter. The owner is DeAndre Sam, and he's a second generation owner. And we take great pride in advertising on this show as well on the radio. And if you can see our trucks rolling throughout the city, we're available. Our phone number is 713-748-6024. A-Rocket Moving and Storage. Been in business since 1959.
And tell them Phil sent you.
That's right. Be sure to ask for me. I'll make sure you get a discount.
Philip Green.
Hey, Brother Jeff, what are some sports events coming up, and anybody, what are some of the sports events? Have y'all heard that Whoopi Goldberg is a part of starting a women's sports network? Have you
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
No, I haven't heard of that myself.
We're just gonna be talking about having all different sports displayed and bringing awareness to all the different types of women's sports and things like that.
Whoopi Goldberg doing this?
Yeah.
She's one of the co-founders. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Also, as I mentioned last week, Unrivaled 3-on-3 is getting the best women's basketball players to participate, including Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Brittany Griner. Agent Thompson, I believe. And so everything is moving up in women's sports. And the women in the Olympics this past year, Sha'Carri Richardson, Sydney McLaughlin, they put on a show, and that is rising also. And track is coming up. Michael Johnson is starting a track league. And so sports is getting better and better. There's more avenues, more opportunities. So sports will always be a part of our rising economy and entertainment, as well as competitive environment. So we are going to be here to cover it all in Sportstake, Sunny Fireside Sportstake, and everybody out there. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to coming to you in 2 weeks, and we'll be back. And Mr. President, is there anything else?
I just want to add one more thing. The NBA All-Star Weekend, they have got a new format this year. It's real quick. There's going to be a 4-team tournament, 8 players per team. And what it is they're going to have 3 teams. So it's 8 players per team, 3 teams. That's 24 players, which is going to be 12 and 12 with 2 teams. So it's still the same number of players. But the 4th team will be the winning team from the Rising Star Championship, where you got the first year players and second year players playing. Whoever wins that will be the 4th team, and then they're gonna play in the tournament. So you're gonna have 2 semifinal games, and then whoever wins goes to the finals, and then that winner, that's how they're gonna pick it. But they're gonna be going to 40. The 2 semifinal games, they go into 40, and the finals they go into 25. That's how they doing it. That's how they doing the All-Star Weekend. They trying to revamp things because they say people are losing interest in it. So they're trying to revamp it so it could be a little bit more competitive. And one other thing, Carl, I wanted to say, one other thing, if I can find it. AI came out with the top 10 athletes. Just real quick. They listed Michael Jordan, number 1. Muhammad Ali was listed number 2. Pele was listed number 3. Usain Bolt, 4. Lionel Messi was number 5. Wayne Gretzky was 6. John Jones, the UFC boxer, the UFC fighter, number 7. Tom Brady was number 8. Number 9 is Tiger Woods, and number 10, guess who? LeBron James. They got LeBron James as number 10 of the greatest athletes. I thought that was hilarious.
I don't know. I mean, he's earned consideration for that, but to not have Jackie Robinson in that number, I say he's a miss in that.
Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens.
Yeah.
Thorpe.
What about Michael Johnson? What about Michael Johnson? Carl Lewis.
Serena Williams.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of people could be there. Yeah. So just like the 75 top players, it's a subjective thing, and I don't agree with a lot of those 75 top players. They took off Bernard King and added James Harden. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Anthony Davis is on there. I don't agree with that. I mean, Carmelo Anthony is on there. I don't agree with that. You put Carmelo Anthony on there, and you take off, or you don't have Alex English on there.
You don't think Carmelo Anthony deserves to be in the top 75?
Not over Alex English. Yeah, he deserves it. But don't take Alex English off to put him on.
Yeah, that's my point.
I didn't say mention Alex English, but I still thought Carmelo deserved to be on there.
I just said, he deserved to be on it. But he said they took Alex English off to put him on. That ain't right.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That's a conversation we need to have on the show one of these times about who needs to be there, who shouldn't be. It's coming upon the 77th year. I'm sure they're going to do it for the 80th year. And there's a lot of people that don't deserve to be on there, and quite a few that deserve to be on there but are not. So it's a good subject matter. And if you get a chance to look at the site, 75 Side with Jeff Walker on Facebook, I have a listing of those who should be there and those who shouldn't be there and those who are actually there. So it's just something interesting to think about. And we are at the end of our show. It was a good show. And look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Everybody,
all right, have a great one, you guys.
Thank you, Laquan. We appreciate you. And Deshannon
Thank
Campbell.
you very much.
All right, everybody. Great.
Good job, bro.
UNLV All-Star. Oh yeah, you guys won the championship. It was your 30-year anniversary of winning the championship, right?
Yeah, 30 years. And we also got selected in the NCAA Hall of Fame also. So
okay,
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
guys.
y'all.
We'll see you next time on Sunny Fireside Sports
I
Take.
appreciate everybody.